Hello, welcome to Strength for the Journey for today. Today's topic is spirit sense versus common sense choices. Proverbs 3:6 says that in all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your path. Life is full of decisions and choices. The choices that we made yesterday are the realities that we are living in today. Our loving Father gave us only human, the free will. No other creation of his have that free will. But with that privilege comes great responsibility for us because every choice that we make have consequences that are attached to it. Deuteronomy 30:19 reminds us that I have set this day before you, life and death, blessing and cursing. Choose life that you and your seed may live. So every decision that we make will either have two outcomes of life or death. It does not necessarily mean physical death. It could mean death of purpose, death of peace, death of relationship. And in our relationship, we have the choice of how we respond, especially with our spouses and the people that we lay closely with. We have a choice, for example, to forgive when people offend us. But if we choose not to forgive, that can result in even death of our relationship with God, because he said that if we don't forgive, he will not forgive us. And if we are still in our sin, then we cannot be alive to God. And unforgiveness can lead to bitterness, and bitterness will defile our spirit, and God does not like to behold defilement. And that choice is not going to help us to be able to relate with our God. That choice will lead to death. Isaiah 59:1-2 reminds us that it's our sin that is making us to be cut off from God. He said, God is not deaf. He's not like he can't hear us. It's sin that can cut us off from God. And so if we make choices that will make us to be cut off from God, that has already mean that we have chose the path of death. Sin can block our heavens, and that can even spill to innocent children in the in our family, in our family, as a couple. If we harbor unforgiveness towards each other or bitterness, that can block people's heaven, that will spill over to innocent children in the home. Many times we are quick or pressure into making decisions, or we try to rely on our common sense. But the Bible tells us that there's a path that seems right to man, but the end is destruction. A biblical example is in 1 Samuel chapter 30, which are recorded when David and his men went to battle and came back. And when they came back, they found out that the Amalekites had come and invaded the city and burned the city down, took away their wives and their children captive. And when they came, the first thing that David did was, when he found out, he wept. It's okay. I know, we know in some culture it's not acceptable for a man to weep, but David wept. It's okay to weep. It's okay to display emotion instead of bottling it in there, to let it become something that will show up maybe in the mind or even the physical body as chronic illnesses. It's okay to, show emotion and cry. He first of all cried. Then when he gathered himself together, he now brought in the presence of God into the situation that, should I go after? Should I go and pursue? But I'm telling you, it doesn't make sense to the human mind. Common sense would be like, especially he was even being pressured. The chapter told us that the people were thinking of stoning David. So there was a lot of pressure for him to have just said, okay, let me just use my common sense. I mean, they have taken your wife, they have taken your children, they have taken everything, and you are still asking, should I go after them? Should I pursue? In my culture, they will say, aborted. Is this one a slow coach? It should just be a common sense that they are taking your stuff. Why do you have to even pray about that? But rather, David inquired of the Lord if he should, and the end result was that he recovered all. And a personal example of mine, I remember when I was preparing to share this, is when I finished college and I finished my youth service. I was looking for a job, and I had two job offers, and one of them was in the city, the other one was in the village, and I preferred the city one because it was gonna pay me more, and then I could, stay with my sister. I won't have to pay rent, and it was just looking more comfortable. I would get paid more. I just finished school. I needed money. But the village one, I don't know anybody there and all that and all that. So I was tending more to the city job. But when I was about to make this final decision, I had a vision, and in that vision, I saw that God wanted me to go to the village to pick the village one. So even though I didn't like it, but I just made a choice of going that path because I know if God is leading me, even though I was a young Christian, but if this is where God is leading me, He must have a plan for me to go there. So when I got there, I realized that God brought me there because there was this tech that I was working with that God wanted her to come to Christ. And I thank God she gave her life to Christ. And during my stay there, I led her to Christ, and she became an evangelist, and she married a pastor. And it was there that I was able to get information that they were looking for people in my field to come to the United States to take up the job that I'm, doing currently, that I came with. And I want to just encourage us that, we should always try to ask God. Nothing should be too small or too big to bring in the presence of God, to let us know His mind before we embark on it. Because at the end of the day, whenever we go God's way, is a part of life. It will bring peace, it will bring joy, it will bring all the blessing that God wants us to have. And I pray that God will continue to help us to be able to make the right choice of asking Him and being able to go with whatever He asks us to do. And I want to say, you have a lovely weekend. Bye for now.